Hello, it's Amy with Soft Wind Crafting. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am here this evening to show you a card, an easel card that I made using the Latte Love bundle. And so what I did is I have the stamps and dies and some of the designer series paper that goes with this bundle, and I'm going to show you how to make this easel card. So it kind of props up, and you can't really see it from that angle, but you've got the propping up. It types up here, and let me see if I can bend it a little bit so you can see how it would look setting up on your desk. So I really think this is such a cute set. Let me get ahead and show you. This is the Latte Love stamp set, and I think it's so cute with its inner coffees. And I have to admit, I'm not a coffee drinker, and I drink tea, but not that much. But I just love these coffee sets that come out. I have to tell you, I love the smell of coffee, but I can't stand the taste of coffee. My husband's the coffee drinker. And I had two daughters that worked for Starbucks as a while, and here are the dies that go with this stamp set. And I'm just pretty bad about wanting to buy every time there's a coffee set coming out because I think they're super cute. So I'll be using these dies, and I wanted to show you the designer series paper that came with this suite. So this is the Latte Love, and you can see I've been into it. So you have, and they're double-sided. So you have with Lost Lagoon, pecan pie. You have this one with the little teeny tiny cups and spoons. You have the one with the coffee rings, just super cute. You have this one that kind of have swirls. And let me flip it over so you can kind of see the back. And then you have one with cups, and these cups actually print, can be cut out with the dies with the set. You also have coffee beans. You have more different kinds of cups. You have this Lost Lagoon stripes. This is my favorite. This one, and the back is the one with the little swirly hearts that you might see in the coffee. So anyway, this is the designer series paper that comes along with the set. Now this is an online exclusive set, so you're not going to see it in the catalog. But if you go to my Stampin' Up! Website at softwindcrafting.stampinup.net, you can type in the search bar for Latte Love, and it will give you the different options, whether it's just the stamps, the dies, the bundle, or the suite. And the suite comes also with some little dots and some really pretty designer series ribbon. So anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get started to make this easel card. This aside. All right, so what I did is I cut up all the pieces before, just kind of save some time on this. And what you're going to do is start with a piece, and let me turn on some light so it's a little brighter, so you may see a little better. We're going to start with a piece of pecan pie, and this is by 5.5 by 8.5. So it's just half a piece of cardstock. And what I did is I scored it in the middle at 4 1/4, and then again in the middle at 2 1/8. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and burnish these folds. See if I get make sure it's lined up pretty good. Sometimes I don't do a very good job on getting my things lined up very well. Okay, and so then we're going to go ahead and burnish this halfway point too. This is what's going to make the easel. Okay, so it'll be stand like this. I'm going to go ahead and kind of burnish this again so it kind of sits up when we're ready to go. Okay, so the first thing we do is I'm going to take a piece of the designer series paper from this book. I really think this pattern is super cute with the Calypso coral, and it is at 5 3/8 by 2. And what I did is I just wanted to give it a little bit shorter than the card itself. So So this is 5 1/2, so it is going to, yeah, 5 3/8. So let me go ahead and grab some glue. I do like using the multi-purpose glue because it has a little bit more give to it, and you have a little bit more time to move it around, wiggle it around to get it where you want. It doesn't take a lot. I see a lot of people that like to use a lot of glue, and I don't like it when my glue squishes out, which can be an issue. So just kind of move it around there, get it lined up. Okay. And then I have this piece of basic beige. I love this new neutral cardstock. I love to use it. I thought it would go so pretty. It's not quite that neutral in here. It's not quite white, but it's not cream either. And so I thought, oh, the basic beige will go really well. And what I did is I ran it through the embossing folder of the exposed brick in order to get, because I don't know, the brick makes me think of coffee shops. Don't ask me why, but that was just kind of my feeling on it. So let me go ahead and get that. Now I like using liquid glue on things that I emboss because it tends to hold up or stick a little better than if it's like with the oh, I can't think of what it's called, tape runners. Okay, so there we have our basic the outside with the designer series paper and our embossed here. So now we're going to take our pieces that I used using the dies to make the French press. And so I had to go look this up because I had no idea what this was supposed to look like, because as I said, I'm not a coffee drinker. So basically I cut out these 3 pieces for using the dies. So I used the French press die, I used the outline of it, and then I used this piece to be the inside for the coffee itself. Okay, so one of the things I noticed is that trying to get everything lined up so it's still in, and so what you want to do is make sure you have that little pour section when you come out. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my coffee in here, and everything I looked up didn't have the coffee at the bottom. It was higher up. Like I said, I'm not a coffee drinker, don't have coffee machine, so I don't really know how this works. So I'm putting a little bit of glue and kind of like put that right there. So if anybody does know anything about French presses, you can leave a comment. So maybe I'll have a little bit understanding. Now these edges are really thin, and I thought later, man, I probably should have put this on some I don't even remember what it's called, the kind of like sticky backing. But then I thought, if I do that, I don't want all this having glue or sticking, because I want it to stick up above my card. So I'm just going to put some glue very thin, okay, because we're going to stick it to this piece. And then we're going to just do this very bottom of the lid, because it's the only thing that's going to be making. So now I want to make sure that I'm lining up these pieces around the edge of the jar. Okay, and keeping this part above the pour. This is a little tricky trying to get it all lined up, which is why the glue works great, because you have a little bit more give to it. And just be careful, it's going to go on top of the coffee as well. My hands don't want to work very well. Sorry about that. Okay, now it's too high. I'm going to have glue all over the place because I'm trying to... But like I said, if you do get glue extra, you can take your... you can have an adhesive eraser, but you got to let it dry up a little bit before you kind of erase. Make sure you use a white one. This is a white art eraser. If you use the pink one, you're going to end up with pink stuff all over your pieces. Okay, so anyway, there's the French press. Okay, so this is going to go here. But before we attach everything, I want to do the rest of the card too. So the first thing we want to do is punch out the center of our that's not a sentiment. I don't remember what it's called. The thing that you put on the outside. See, I'm terrible at doing these things because as soon as I'm having to do it on video, I'm on the spot and I can't remember what any of these things are called. So I'm using the 2-inch circle punch, and these are also online exclusive items. And so if you go in and search for circle punches, this one and the 2 and 3/8 circle punch will come up as well. Okay, when I was looking at under punches, only the 2-inch showed up, and I'm not really sure why that is. Okay, so I'm going to take some pecan pie ink. Okay, I'm going to get my You're the Best Part of My Day, and I just feel like I knocked something over, but I don't know what it was that I knocked over. I'll get this. Grab a block. And this is, since it's on the photopolymer, you want to have something cushiony underneath. I use my mat from my my Misty type tool. I don't remember what it's called. Like I said, I'm just like not very good. I guess maybe I should start writing all these tools, the actual names down before I do anything. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and ink that up and put that together. Okay. Oh, well, while we have this out, let's go ahead and stamp the inside of a card. So on the inside, for the sentiment, I'm using it from Feathered Flight. I'm so glad you're in my life, just because I don't know, I didn't feel like thank you was what I wanted to say with that outside bit. So here we go. Let me grab get this mat out from underneath. You don't need any mats for if you're using the red cling stamps. So let me get my block. Oh, that's not the block I need. This is the block I need. Okay, so one of the things I like to do is I like to look at how straight do I have it on my block. Now, granted, it's not going to be any difference, but it just makes me feel like if I can see it straight here, I have a better chance of getting it straight when I do stamping, and I am not very good at the straight part. And one of the things you want to do is when you're using these red cling stamps, since you can't see through them like you can with the photopolymer, is I always stamp off on my grid paper just to make sure so I can see what it is. And I'm sorry if my head gets in the way, but I try to see how it goes when I stamp it. See, so it's a little crooked, so I go again, try to make sure I'm doing what I need with my stamp, and it can tilt it a little bit. A little too much. And there we go. That's pretty straight. Okay, so I'm going to bring that. And it's probably not going to go straight on here, but remember, if you mess up, you can always flip the cardstock over. Get it to do what you want it to. I'm going to try to get it centered. And that's not as straight as I'd like, so let's flip it over. Try again. So let me bring it down a little bit more so I can see more what I'm doing. And it probably be really crooked this time, but much better. Okay, so let me set that aside. And I do want to close my ink because I'm notorious for dropping things in my inks, inking myself up, etc. All right, so that's that part. Now I did on my card, I used a 2 3/8 circle of Calypso Coral. But as I was kind of getting ready for this video, I thought, oh my gosh, you know what would be super cute would be some kind of doily. And I have some old doilies. And for those of you that have the old, there's an old stamp and die set with doilies. I can't remember what it's called, and I'm not seeing it quite on my stamp shelf off the top of my head. My daughter's really good at just like, oh, there it is. I'm not. But anyway, so that could be used. But I thought, why not see if that would look cute on the card. So I haven't decided yet, so we'll try and we'll decide in a second. But anyway, so I already die cut out these two little coffee cups, which I think are super adorable. And we're going to go ahead, and there's this little piece here that's in the die set that is your coffee. Okay, so if you dye this, you can put it into your cups and look like a little cup of the coffee. So I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool because I want to be able to get that glued right where I want it. So we have this one, and I just want to make sure I have just a little itty bitty bit of glue. Not too much, because I don't want it smearing out. Okay, and so now I can move it a little bit. Get it lined up. Ah! Okay, that looks good. Okay, now I'm going to make sure I do the same thing. I'm going to flip this over because I want this back side to be the part with the glue. So I'm going to click that up. And some glue. Sorry, I keep clicking on things, hitting things with my hand as I'm trying to move around. Let me get that on. Whoops. Okay. And so here we go with the little coffee cups. I don't know, I kind of like that. Kind of like it a lot. Okay, so now when you're putting onto this front part of your card, you do want to make sure that when you put your adhesives, that you don't do it all the way, because you want these to be able to come up off the top. So, and if you put glue underneath here, it's going to glue onto here, and then you're going to kind of lose that effect. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is put some glue on the inner part of my doily. Not too much. And then it's just I'm gonna flip that over, and just so that it has a chance to dry. Okay, but what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take some dimensionals. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put this here, and I wanted to make sure I don't have it hanging off the edge, because I do want to be able to put it up against the stand, that's the easel part that's going to hold it open. So I want to make sure it's up a little bit above that. So I'm saying that I want to make sure that my dimensionals are below this line, because I don't want them to show, okay, when I lift up the card. Okay, so I'm just going to 1, 2. Get the backings off. And then I'm going to make sure to put my dimensionals under here, because I don't want them to be seen underneath the doily. So, but I also want to do is make sure to see and make sure that I'm keeping my dimensionals below here. So let me grab okay, and I'm going to go ahead and take those off. And now I'm going to lay this flat, and I'm going to put that right there. Then I'm going to take the same with my French press. I bring it up a little bit. Do that. And now I'm going to do the same with my little coffee cups. I'm going to put a dimensional behind them. See, let's go ahead and put that right there. And this one there. And so now we're ready to do the inside. So I have a piece of Calypso coral that is, let's see, it's 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then I have the basic beige at 5 3 3/4. Okay, so before I do that, I want to add the coffee spill to the bottom of this. This real quick, and then of course the photopolymer sticks to everything about me. So I'm going to use pecan pie. Just kind of put it on the corner there, and then I'm going to kind of glue this down. So this is not the normal size that I would use on my regular cards. I usually do 5 1/4 by 4, but because this is an easel card and we're not really using the top, very top part of the card, I thought I would make it just a little bit smaller. And then I thought, well, maybe I should have made it a little bit longer, but it'll be okay the way it is. Okay, so now we're ready to put that in the inside of card. But like I said, I'm not going to put it all the way up because a lot of this, you're not going to see it when the easel card's down. So we're just going to put it close to the bottom. I'm going to put some glue on the back. Like I said, you don't have to put a lot of glue because this multi-purpose glue, this Tombow, it is really strong. And like I said, you have a little bit of give. Of course, that's too much, too far down. There we go. Okay. And so we're going to use this piece, by the way, this basic beige that I made is, this is 7/8 by 2.5 inches. And then I cut out a piece of Lost Lagoon, so same color as my cups, and it is 1 inch by 1 inch by 2 5/8. So it just kind of sits on there. So I'm going to glue it together. Put some glue. Center it on the cardstock. Straight. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for, where do I want this to sit at when I have my card up? But see, notice if you put it just flat, it's not going to hold it. So you do need to make sure you're putting dimensionals. And you need to be careful, because one of the things I found is I don't like it when I can see the dimensionals sticking out from the bottom here. So let's see if I will do them in the center. And I am using 4 down the center to give it a little bit more stability. Sorry, I'm trying to get my dimensionals into my little trash can. It's not always quite working. So like I said, I'm going to kind of put it towards the top. You can do it further down, but then it doesn't give you any place to write. Oh, greeting. That's what I was trying to think of. It's such a, seems like such a simple word, but I get real nervous when I'm making a video and then I can't remember anything. And so now, you can't see it very well on the camera, but now it's going to hold that so that you have that little setup. Okay, so there's one last thing I would like to do with this card, and that is stamp the envelope. I love stamping my envelopes as much as I can. So what I'm going to do again, I'm going to take my ink and I'm going to take my little coffee spill, and I'm just going to, I like putting it in the corner of the envelope here where I address it. Anyway, this is the card. This is the original one I made, and I just used a 2 3/8 circle of Calypso coral, and then this is it. And oh, you know what? We should add some dots. Now, I don't have the dots that came with the suite. I actually gave them away, but I found these old dots of Calypso coral, and so I don't even know what set they're from. They're super old, and so I'm just going to grab them with my take your pick tool, and I'm going to set them on my greeting. And you always want to do it in odd numbers because that's more pleasing to the eye. Anyway, I like it with the doily. I also like it with just regular circle cardstock. So if you have some dies that do some really fancy circles, you certainly should do that for the front of your card, your easel card. So there you go. We have our easel cards. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you did like this video or like this card, if you could please click like or subscribe to my channel, and I really appreciate any comments that you leave behind. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and it would really help my channel as well. Again, Amy from Soft Wind Crafting, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.